Hi guys, welcome to my sermon this morning. Welcome. Um, let's pray. Father, thank you for just this time together today, and thank you for your just blessings and your just love towards us today. And I pray, Lord God, that you just permeate our hearts and our spirits. You know where each one of us is in our lives, and you know um, how we need to be spoken to, what challenges we're having, what victories we're having. Lord God, teach us how to pick our heart. And sometimes most times we can't pick our heart, but teach us how to get through it so that we see you on the other side. Speak to me, speak through me, in the name of Jesus. Amen. Hi guys, I was listening to a podcast, by Glennon Doyle. Glennon Doyle, she's a writer, she's a speaker, and she has a podcast now. Now, I didn't know that she has a podcast now. But it's called Do the Hard Thing or whatever. I think it's called Do the Hard Thing. Anyway, she has guests there and they talk about all kinds of different subjects. So anyway, in this episode she was talking to Kelly Clarkson, and if you don't know by now, Kelly Clarkson was married for 9 years. And now, and about 3 years ago, she unfortunately made the hard decision to get a divorce. And now she has an album called Chemistry, talking about that whole experience in her life or whatever. So anyway, she was on the Glennon Doyle podcast, and uh, they got into like she got into she said at one point, do I stay or do I leave or whatever, and she talked to people after she decided to separate from her husband. She talked to people who stayed, and they told her it's hard if you stay too. And Glennon Doyle said it's about picking your heart. And that phrase kind of stuck with me because we like to take the easy road, but what we perceive as the easier road in life, because nobody likes struggle, nobody likes pain, nobody likes all of that. But what I learned from that is whatever where you go, whatever stage you're at, life is difficult no matter who you are on many levels. That we could have you could get tips from people how to deal with certain situations or whatever. But at the end of the day, what I've learned about life is it's all hard. If you're married, it's hard. If you're single, it's hard. If you're a woman, it's hard. If you're a man, it's hard. If you're gay, it's hard. If you're gay, it's hard. If you're straight, it's hard. If you're, whatever road you find yourself in, it has its hard points and it has its low points, and it has its joys, its pain. It's just life. And I'm calling this sermon Hit Your Hard because no matter which way you go, there is no better road. It's just all hard. But at the end, or at the end of that journey, hopefully you'll pick up the lessons that you needed to learn in that hard place. I think that we don't like struggle, we don't like pain or whatever. But what I've learned in my almost 39 years of life is that pain is all part of the process, and it's not a platitude. When I first got diagnosed with diabetes, it was so painful because I couldn't eat all the stuff that I love to eat. It was torture for me. I'm like, why me? Why me? And in the middle of that, God said, why not you? And that goes either positive or negative. Life gives you fuel, but it's how you interpret the fuel. Life gives you lessons, and it's how you interpret the lessons and how you digest the lessons throughout your life. I think that we spend so much time trying to avoid struggle, not realizing whatever way you go is hard. Whatever way you go, there's pain, there's struggle, there's suffering, and it's all necessary. No matter what label you subscribe to it, it's all necessary. But in the struggle, if you let the struggle teach you things, it'll change your life for the better. And I know struggle is hard, but struggle is necessary. And if you understand how necessary it is, you wouldn't welcome it, but you would understand why it's happening. And most times with struggle, though, we don't understand what's happening. Sometimes, like, we just don't understand what's happening, and that makes it so hard. But what we need to understand is the Lord is taking us to different places. And if we absorb, if we take in the struggle as fuel and use it as lessons and not just to, oh, this is going to kill me or whatever, it can change our lives. Because it's not whether or not you will go through struggle. You will. live long enough and you'll go through struggle sometimes in many areas of your life at the same time. But but the but the question is, how will you use your struggle? And I think sometimes people um just don't want to struggle because it's hard. But hard things are the most brilliant teachers. Like going back to Kelly Clarkson, I I would surmise that going through her divorce was one of the hardest things she had to go through. But I would say, hindsight being 2020, would like she would say, yes, it was brutal. Yes, it was just so hard. But it taught me a lot about myself and what I could do. The same thing with my struggle with diabetes. Yes, it's been up and down and a roller coaster. One time I'm fine, and one time the sugar's up. One time I don't need to be on medication, one time I do. It's a roller coaster ride. But um, it's hard. It's hard if I try to stay off medication. It's hard if I have to be on medication. Like, so it's like, and a lot of, no matter what decision you make, you have to kind of realize that there is no easy solutions to almost everything in life. Um, even the easy, even the solutions that may seem easy are not easy. They just they just seem easy at the time, but they're not easy. And no one has it easy. So that's why we can't judge people because um, they pick their heart and they have to live with it. And my heart is not harder than your heart. My heart is just different than your heart. You may not have diabetes, but you may, but you do have something else. You may not have struggles with your with your um, with your diet, but you will have something else. You may not have struggles with your sex drive, but you do have something else. So it's all hard. And often what choice you make, it comes with its joys and its pain. It comes with its hard and its easy and it's easy, not easy, but less difficult challenges, and you can't escape it. You can't escape hard because often the only way around the problem is through it. You need to know that you are strong enough. You are strong enough. This will not kill you. This will only propel you to 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 this will only propel you to a a destiny that you need for your life. And this will only take you to a different side of you. And you know the thing about trouble? When you go through real trouble, it reveals sides of you that you don't know existed. And um because trouble and struggle reveals sides of you that you don't know existed. And you're like, I didn't know that I could do that. I didn't know that I can think like that. I didn't know that I could go through this alone. And often struggle is not for just struggle. It's for you, to show you who you are. Because God sees us in and out, he knows who we are. And sometimes struggles come to reveal to us who we are. I believe struggles come for two reasons: to reveal to us who he is, who God is, and who we are. And to when we get a greater understanding of who we are and who he is, we have greater confidence in him, in ourselves. And struggles never stop, but they do become easier the more you that you learn what you can handle, the more that God shows you who you are, the easier the struggles don't become easier, but the easier it comes for you to move through those struggles. Because sometimes you're perceiving uh, this struggle is hard, and it is, um, but the more you go through in your life, especially struggle, is the more you see of life and the more you see of yourself if you let it teach you. Sometimes we don't let struggle teach us anything. We just go through and that's it. But sometimes, most times, if we pick up the lessons that struggle comes to teach us, we can have a greater revelation on life and on ourselves, and we learn more and more about ourselves. And sometimes we judge people not knowing they're hard, because everybody has their own level of hard, their own tolerance for pain and whatever, and things like that. But how dare you judge somebody's tolerance for pain, or think, oh, that's nothing, or that's nothing. No, that's nothing for you, but it's everything for them. And not everybody is you. Some people will, fall where you will stand. Some people will stand where you will fall. But that's all the intricacies of life. And we're all going through something, and we're all going through it differently. And people take different times to learn things. People have different learning things that they have to go through. And mine is not better than yours, or yours is not harder than mine. We're just different. One person could be going through cancer saying, "Oh my God, this is the hardest thing I've ever gone through in my life." And one person could be going through a divorce thinking that this is the hardest thing in my life. And one person could have lost their bus pass thinking, "Oh my God, this is so difficult. What am I supposed to do?" And one person could be going through a relationship problem. And they can be like, "This is the hardest thing. What am I going to do?" So, and if the person with cancer judges the person with the boyfriend or girlfriend problems and say, "Oh my God, this is just a relationship problem. Why are you just crying over this relationship problem?" Um, it's not your hard. It's not medically hard or chemo hard, but it's devastating for the person. Ex- Especially if the person is the person's first love and the first time that they've ever felt love, and now they've got their heart ripped out. How dare you think that your heart is more is harder than their heart? Uh, it's not harder; it's just different, and we need to learn to respect the differences of people's heart. And pain is pain, no matter who's experiencing it. And I think that we need to understand that uh, pain is not equal. We all have pain, and that will make us equal. But uh, a person's pain is not equal, and it's not supposed to be. Your pain is measured by where you're going in life, what you need to learn in life. Because the thing about God is, He knows what you need to learn in life, or what He's going to use in your life, and what you need to pick up. So, and often He'll send a difficult circumstance to teach you, or even if He doesn't send it, He'll use it to teach you what you need to know. And and but because we like to see everybody else's hard and say, "That's not hard at all. Why are they doing that?" We don't know what is hard. We only know what we see. And we often see the good parts, but we don't see the difficult parts um, of someone's heart. We see that um, we see what we perceive as someone's heart and go, "That's not hard at all." But it may not be hard for you, but it will be hard for that person. And every circumstance in life has their intricacies. So you might have gone through a divorce and not fallen apart at all. But they might have gone through a divorce and it would have wrecked them. So who are you to judge their pain? I think we need to slow down with the judgments and just be there with compassion and understanding, and know that our heart doesn't have to be their heart for us to be compassionate. We need to understand each other. We need to have empathy for each other. Uh, we need to understand that all hard is hard. And everybody, when they're going through a tough time, whatever it may be, needs support. They don't need our judgment. Because oftentimes, um, what we're judging them about, they're already saying to themselves. They don't need us to be saying it as well. Um, they need us to love them. They need us to support them. And are there times where you need to give people tough love and the truth? Yes. But there are times where you also need to shut up and be supportive. And God will tell you if you listen to that inner voice that He's given you. He will tell you when to do that. And I think part of the problem is we don't listen to the inner voice that God has given us. And I think God has given each of us an inner voice to tell us what to do and what not to. And I think that's what happens when we don't listen to our inner voice, when we don't have compassion, when we don't have love, but we have judgments and we think we can stand on our soapbox and tell the person what to do. Sometimes the person doesn't need advice, they just need us to listen. When's the last time you just sat in a conversation? No judgment, no anything, and just listen to a person struggle. I think that's a problem with our society is that we don't listen to each other. We like to judge each other, but we don't listen to each other. We we listen to have a response. We don't listen to be compassionate or understand. We're so quick to judge with our responses and to tell people what they should do or what how their lives are that we don't listen with compassion. We listen because we want to give a response. Sometimes uh, we just need people to say, you know what, that sucks. You know what, that's so hard. I'm so sorry you're going through that. Sometimes they don't need our platitudes, they just need us to be there and to show up and to listen. Sometimes the best gift you can give to a person is your presence. Sometimes the best gift you can give to a person is your presence. All these parents that are working 1 or 2 jobs to support your family and you're wondering what to do with those kids, um, what they um, what they need from you. Sometimes they just need a few hours or an hour of your presence. Sometimes they just need quality conversation. Um, I I like sermons, but I more like um conversations. Um, like because you can really get to know or understand somebody's circumstance if you have a conversation about that. But I think one of the lost arts of the society our conversations. Uh, the person I consider my pastor now, Stephen Furtick, always says we, we don't have conversations, we just have comments. And I think we need to have quality conversations with our families, with our with people at our church, with 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 people, because in quality conversations you get to know somebody's mind, somebody's thoughts, somebody's heart. So maybe what your kids need, instead of your discipline and your judgment, they need to have a conversation with you, an open and honest conversation where they can say, here's here's who I am, and here's what I feel about this. Or not even if you have kids, if you have friends, if you have whoever, maybe they just need uh your your conversation. They don't need your judgment. They just need to sit down and talk to someone. You know how many people don't have anyone to talk to? And maybe that's what they need from you is the, the gift of your presence. Either when I say your presence, I don't mean just your physical presence, because you can be physically there, but emotionally you're thinking about whatever you're thinking about. When I say your presence, I mean physically, spiritually, emotional presence. Because I think when we're tuned in on all levels, we can understand and speak with uh, wisdom and wisdom and understanding. And sometimes the Lord will say, "I just need you to shut up right now and listen." Or I just need you to put your arms around that person. I just need you to pray for that person. I just need you to to tell this person this, you know, and you will see how that will change your life. But that's like if you're present phys- that if you're present physically, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. And it's not a problem if you say, you know what, I can't I can't I, I can't talk to you now. We'll do it later. And then when you say we'll do it later, set up a time where you can talk to that person, where you can be present uh, spiritually, emotionally, and physically with that person. Because there's nothing worse than talking to somebody and they're somewhere else. Give the person the gift of your presence. And when I say your presence, again, I mean your presence in every way. Your physical presence, your emotional presence, your spiritual presence, because people can be physically somewhere and, and they're not there at all. They're not even hearing what you're saying, although they're standing right there. See, that is the thing, like I say about church now, because I used to think, Oh, I'll never go to church online. That's bedside tabernacle. But what I learned now is I don't have to physically go to church to go. I can. I'm emotionally there. I'm spiritually there, and when I'm in church, uh, you would think I was physically there. I'm present, I'm paying attention, I'm singing, I'm doing all that stuff. Although I'm physically alone in my computer room, I am, my spirit is interacting with what's going on in the in in the service I'm participating in. And there are people that are physically in church, but their mind is totally gone. Their mind is totally not there at all. Like, it's just they're physically there, but it's like the lights are on and nobody's home. So, and I'm not saying it's not good to go to physical church, it's wonderful. But I'm saying you don't have to be present physically somewhere to be attending uh, emotionally and spiritually. Um, I think I think that's what this time has taught me. Um, and I I just am so grateful to God that He's taught me this. And the last thing I want to say is this: O- other than gifts, greater than any physical thing you can give a person, the greatest gift you can give a person is your presence. That's what the people in your life want from you. That's what your kids want from you. That's what your uh, family wants from you. That's what your mom wants from you. That's what your church members want from you. They want your presence. So when you're talking on the phone with someone, uh, don't talk on the phone and just be doing all of this stuff. Talk on the phone and be present with the person. Really be aware and pay attention to what they're thinking. And I need to learn this too with my family. Um, so guys, thank you so much. See you next week. Bye. Bring all of you to life, not just some of you, because a lot of us don't bring all we have to our lives. We we have one thing over there and one thing over there, and we're so scattered. We're like two different people. And the Lord says, I need you to bring all of you to, to every relationship. Or and the first relationship that you need to bring all of you to is the relationship with yourself. You need to be aware and tune in to who you are and how you act. Before you get to know anyone else, you need to get to know yourself. You need to get to know who you are and how you are. And the greatest way to get tuned into yourself is to get tuned into a relationship with Jesus Christ. What I like to say to people is just the Bible says to believe that He is the Lord and confess. Once you do that, you're in the kingdom forever, and it's the greatest decision that you will ever make. And so, what I like to do is just say, tell your heart to Jesus. If whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, if you're feeling a drawing right now, if you feel that there's something drawing you to Jesus right now, just tell him exactly what you're thinking, and then just believe and confess. There are only two criteria. It says if if I believe in my heart that Jesus is Lord and I confess that He was raised from the dead, I will be saved. So if you need a rescue, that's your rescue right now. And just pour out your heart wherever you are to the Lord and say that you need Him and that you believe in Him. And if you're not sure, you can say, Lord, I'm not sure. I don't know who you are, but what this person is saying sounds really good and I need a rescue. Please help me. Wherever you are, whatever you're feeling, it's not a special prayer that you have to pray. Just come to Him as you are, and He'll deal with the rest. Okay, guys, I'll see you next week. Bye.